Buckets! What's up?
What's up, buddy? I'm back from vacation. Do I look tan? Do I look more handsome, more chiseled, anything like that?
I'm just going to stop you right now because your microphone sounds fucking terrible. It sounds like it's connected to something else.
That's not even plugged in? What the hell? Well, this is class. 1 second, Jeff. Let me get this bad boy fixed.
No, we're still rolling. Keep that shit rolling, Jeff.
All right, why not? Microphone. There we go. How does that sound? Better?
Tap it in. We got cup finals coming up this weekend and many good cup final games as well. Before we get there though, Buckets, I want to remind everybody that they can go get their content on the newsletter. I know we've been inactive for the last 14 days. Apologies for that. We've been a little bit busy, but at the same time, the content will be flowing obviously again as we go forward for the next foreseeable future. So Buckets, social media is going pretty well for yourself. How are you being on the betting front?
We've been doing pretty good. I mean, betting is what it is, right? It's a little bit of a roller coaster. You're going to have your really good days. You're going to have your really bad days. But as long as you're stabilizing and finding consistent profit, that is what matters. And May has been all about consistent profit. So happy to be here. Feeling good so far.
Yeah, you got a smile on your face. I like to see that as well. Before we go any further, I also have a smile on my face. You know why?
Uh-oh. Why?
Borussia Dortmund ended up in the top 4 of the Bundesliga, baby. Was it ever in doubt, Buckets? Was it ever in doubt?
I have done nothing but doubt Dortmund all season long, actually. Jeff, you do not deserve top 4, but I'm glad that you hit your bet, man. What a crazy ride for Dortmund. What a finish, though.
Yeah, wild finish at one point. So many people out there, obviously the loyal listeners will know this. I placed a rather large unit size bet on them finishing top 4 in the Bundesliga. It was plus 105 at the time. And I think at that point, they were like 7th in the Bundesliga. They went all the way down as 11th. And at one point during live games, they were 13th in the Bundesliga. And the odds jumped to as high as plus 500 for them to finish in the top 4 of the Bundesliga. They did it on the last game of the season, cashing in rather a large ticket for myself. So if you see me on vacation this summer, you'll know where that money came from. Buckets, let's get into the best bets. You know, it wouldn't be an episode of Stoppage Time if we didn't get some best bets from our betting expert. Yes, that is, of course, the blonde bombshell, the betting unicorn, John Buckets. Buckets, welcome back to the big time. I'm doing things differently today. We're going to go through rotations here. We're starting with 3 cup final bets. I want 1 best bet for France. I want 1 best bet for Germany. I want 1 best bet for the playoff championship game. And you can't hide this weekend. So we're going to do the same format. It's going to be the 60-second clock it. So you're going to have to go through 60 seconds fast. Give me your bet. I'll give you a little wager as well. Maybe if you're lucky. Maybe I'll give you some tips as well. Maybe I'll react if I have enough time on that one as well. What do you think about that?
I love it. Let's do it, baby.
Okay. Quick drink. Yeah.
Yep, everyone. Good job.
Oh. Start that clock, Jeff. Let's get going. To the Coupe de France. It is Paris Saint-Germain against Reims. Buckets, where you going?
We are going with Paris Saint-Germain to absolutely decimate Reims in this one. Reims are distracted because they are currently producing a League playoff to avoid relegation. This team, of course, you'd love to bring home some silverware, but more importantly, you want to stay in League, which means they're going to be distracted and they're going to be tired. PSG should walk all over them, but it's hard to find value here because PSG are minus 800 favorites. So how I had to find value here was doing a same game parlay, Ian. I'm going with PSG money line parlayed with Ousmane Dembele anytime goal scorer. Gets you down to minus 120. That's a fair line for me.
Lovely, jubbly. Let's not forget the Champions League has to be the focus here for Paris Saint-Germain. So they have to get the job done very early in this game. First half, so they can maybe protect some of their valuable players. Where am I going? Over 1.5 team total goals for Paris Saint-Germain in the first half.
Yes.
Plus 130. Snap it up, baby. Let's go to Germany, the DFB Pokal final. It is Arminia Bielefeld against VfB Stuttgart. Buckets, where you going?
Bielefeld have been the Bundesliga killers so far in this competition. They beat Werder Bremen. They beat Leverkusen last round. They beat Freiburg in the round of 16. But in all 3 of those matches in which they won, we saw the exact same game parlay hit. both teams to score and over 2.5 goals. That is currently priced at even money plus 100. Stuttgart should win this game, but we've said that about every opponent Bielefeld have played in the last 3 rounds. I don't know who's going to win this game. Maybe they pull off something crazy here, but I do love goals in this fixture because neither team is playing defense in any capacity right now.
The goals might come from Nick Voltomedi. He has 16 goals, 3 assists this season across all competitions, 3 consecutive games with a goal to end the Bundesliga campaign as well. Anytime goal scorer, currently sitting at plus 130. He's a German international player. Snap it up. Buckets. I love big money games. I don't know if you love big money games. Yeah, I know you do. You're in the betting game. Let's go to the Championship playoff final. It is Sheffield United against Sunderland. Tough game to predict this one.
Do you smell that, IPJ? That smells like promotion, baby! Sheffield United are going back to the English Premier League. Sunderland did an incredible job to make it to this final. They looked really, really good against Coventry in both of those matchups, but Sheffield have too much quality for anybody to stop right now. I'm keeping this simple. I'm not overthinking this one in the slightest. There's good lines to be had everywhere here, but Sheffield United to lift the cup or to be promoted, depending on how your book lists it, is minus 130. It's a little bit of juice, but Sunderland are way outclassed here.
Both teams to score, you like that?
A little bit, yeah, as long as Sheffield get 2 or 3.
Plus 100 for both teams to score. This game is the richest game in football. The winner will get an estimated $150 million. May the best team win. All right, Buckets, we're going to have a little reset before we go anywhere else because I want to talk about Serie A and what's happening in Italian football right now because it's the only top 5 league that doesn't have a title winner up to this point. Have a look at the table right now. Napoli leading by 1 point over Inter. They're the only 2 teams that can potentially win this weekend. Your overall thoughts on what's happened in Italy this year? It's been a little crazy.
I love what's happening in Italy right now. It's kind of disappointing when you have the league decided a month before the season actually ends. And from a betting perspective, it makes it very hard to bet when teams, frankly, don't care about the last couple of match days. I love what we're seeing because every game you've got teams that have things to play for. Not only do we not have a winner, but Roma, Lazio, Juventus, these teams are still fighting for just a Champions League qualifying spot. And we also have a relegation race. So many teams have something to play for. And that's what I want to see in the final match day.
Yeah, it goes all the way down to even Fiorentina, Bologna. Obviously, they're a little bit out of it because of their goal difference and things like that. But Lazio, obviously, trying to get into that Champions League spot. You've got Roma getting into that Champions League spot. Juve currently sitting there. Last game of the season is where it gets interesting. So have a look at the fixtures. Como against Inter. Napoli against Cagliari is the 2-1s. They kick off early because Inter are having an extra day preparing for the Champions League final. Obviously, we respect that as well. And then you've got, obviously, Milan, who are outside looking in. Bologna outside looking in, obviously taking place on Saturday, as well as Atalanta. Lazio Lecce is a big one. Torino against Roma is a big one. And then Juventus are away to Venezia, which is going to be a really tough one to predict, which is why we're going to start that clock again, and we're going to get your best bets for multiple games. So, Buckets, I'm looking for 3 more bets from you. And this time I'm looking for a bet from the Napoli game, a bet from the Inter game, and then I want you to choose any game you want for your 3rd best bet in Serie A. So you can go anywhere you want, any bet you want, any team you want, any competition you want. It could be a relegation. I don't give a fuck. You can go wherever you want. Ready to go?
Let's do it.
All right. Here we go. Como against Inter Milan. Inter Milan with one eye on next week's Champions League final. 1 point behind Napoli with 1 game left to go. I've got a feeling Buckets is favouring Napoli, but I've got a feeling he's going to favour Inter in this one.
I am, but it's not going to be easy because, as you mentioned, Inter have an eye looking ahead at the Champions League final, but also Como has just been a tough team to play all season long. This is a team that was newly promoted, but they did not play like a newly promoted side. They didn't hide and sit back and play defensive and just try to survive. They're 10th on the table, and they haven't lost in their last 5 fixtures. This Como team is giving the best sides in Italy hell every single week. So while I do think Inter win, it is not going to come easy. Both teams to score an over 2.5 in this one. Plus 100, Coma's getting on the score sheet.
I love this one, and there's a reason why I think you might be right with this one, because Como under Cesc Fabregas have won 6 of their last 7 games. They're unbeaten in that period of time, which is incredible to think. Against Inter and stuff, though. Let's go to Napoli against Cagliari. Napoli know it's their deal. Win and you win the title. Napoli are unbeaten in 8 Serie A games against Cagliari. Cagliari obviously at the bottom end of the table look like they're going to be safe and enjoying another life in the top flight. But Napoli, it's all on them, Buckets.
It's all on them, and more importantly, it's all on one man. And it's not Romelu Lukaku. It's not their best goal scorer. Ian, it is your boy, Scott McTominay! Get in there, baby! Scott McTominay to score or assist. Even money in this fixture, plus 100. He's got 15 goal contributions in 32 matches this season, which maybe doesn't sound like a ton, but right now this Napoli team, they're very even across the board. They don't have to rely on one person, but Scott McTominay has been a key person for all of their games. I love for him to do something in this final match.
Yeah, 11 goals, 4 assists in 33 matches in a Napoli jersey. What a different player he looks now. He's gone to Italy. He looks like he's going to win a title. Do you think they win it?
Yeah.
Me too. All right, Buckets. It's that time. Any game in Serie A this weekend. You can choose any game. Give us any bet. Take it away.
Lazio versus Lecce. Both teams to score, minus 110. Lazio are 6th on the table, but they're only 2 points behind Juventus for a Champions League spot. So they have to win this game. If they do not win, no matter what happens, there's no chance of Champions League qualification. But Lecce, they are tied right now with Empoli, 17th and 18th on the table. Lecce needs to get a point or preferably 3 here to avoid relegation. So we have 2 teams on different ends of the table, desperate to produce a result here. And frankly, while I do think Lazio win, Lecce the last couple weeks have turned things up, and they know they're not going to beat Lazio without scoring a goal here. It's probably going to take 2 to beat Lazio. So go BTTS here at minus 110, Ian.
Yeah, both teams to score has hit in 3 of the last 4 games, and each of those 3 games that it has hit, those games have ended in a draw. 2-2 against Parma, 1-1 against Juventus, 2-2 against Inter. Be careful how you play this one. All right, one more little reset before we get him back into the final betting structure here. I'm going to the English Premier League because we know Liverpool are already champions, but the battle for the top 4, getting at top 5 essentially for the Champions League, is heating up, which is why I've put these 7 teams in that category, because all 7 teams obviously could end up in the Champions League, or you can choose 5 of them, right? So, yeah, and we'll also have a 6th team in the Champions League next year. Do you know where that's coming from?
The Europa League final somehow.
Some people are calling it the El Clasico, just throwing it out there. But yeah, the winner of the Europa League final, obviously that you guys are having watched this, you'll know who that's going to be. But for us, we still don't know. It's going to be Manchester United or Tottenham who join them. So let's have a quick look at what's happening in the round of 38 games. There's some big games obviously coming up for, those teams who are competing. Manchester City against Fulham, West Ham against Ipswich, Liverpool against Crystal Palace, Man United, Aston Villa. It's going to be an interesting one, that one, especially with Villa trying to get all 3 points. Newcastle against Everton trying to lock up that spot. And then it came down to this one. Look at that one. Nottingham Forest against Chelsea. What an incredible game that is. Win and you might be in. That's the scenario for everybody in that game. And then the other games are also going to be interesting as well. So Buckets, I want 3 more best bets for you. I'm looking at the Premier League games. I'm going to choose the 3 games. I'm going to go for Newcastle, Everton, Nottingham against Chelsea, and then Fulham against Manchester City. Sound good with you?
Sounds good to me.
Roll that clock, Jeff. Let's go. Newcastle against Everton. Newcastle know that a win and they could be into the Champions League. They just lost to Arsenal. I think it was 1-0, and the Toffees are coming off the back of 2 consecutive wins. Buckets, where you going?
This is a fun one because Everton really have nothing to play for. It doesn't matter how badly they win or how badly they lose. They are safe once again in another flight in the English Premier League. So when you've got no stress on your shoulders, a lot of times we see these teams almost play better. There's no pressure. They can play free, open football, and they have a chance to really hurt Newcastle and spoil their chances at Champions League glory. So while I think Newcastle still win, and at minus 300 favorites, that makes sense, Everton's getting a goal here. I'm going with the classic, both teams to score. How do you not bet that with Everton's current form?
You probably don't bet that because the last time they met in October, it finished 0-0, Buckets. That might scare you just a little bit. Now, listen, I think that Everton got no pressure. There's going to be an opportunity for them to spring a surprise here. But this is Newcastle in the Champions League. Do Newcastle get there?
No.
Oh, I think they do. Nottingham Forest against Chelsea. This is a Champions League Cup final. I'm just going to throw it out there. Chelsea need a win to be in. Nottingham Forest need a win and some help from other teams, including Aston Villa. Now, Chelsea have won 4 of the last 5 and have lost only 1 of the last 8 Premier League games going into this game. And Forest just won their first one in a while. Where are you betting this one?
I'm going for a crazy one. Shout out to my buddy Tom. He's the one that really got me into soccer. He's a big Chelsea fan. Tom, this one is not for you because I'm going for Forest double chance at -130. I'm going for a bit of an upset here. There's just so much on the line, and Chelsea, when there's been a lot on the line so far this season, they've struggled. It's a very flip-floppy team. It's a hard team for me to get a hold of and a hard team to predict. They show up some of the time, and while they've been in good form recently, Ian, something in my gut, something in my heart says, is this going to end in a draw? And Forest might end up keeping them out of the Champions League.
Wow. Fulham against Manchester City. Buckets, where you going?
I am going with Manchester City to roll over this Fulham squad, but to do it on the back of one player, and it is not the Nordic Viking Erling Haaland. I have been so impressed with another man, Omar Marmoush. I miss him deeply in the Bundesliga, but he looked so good last week, and he's looked so good while he's been at City. He's finally finding a bit of form with his club, and the fact that you can currently bet him to score or assist at +110, I'm taking that every time, especially considering City's scoring 3 or more here.
City pretty much guaranteed Champions League football next season, still will want to win that game. They're going to be preparing for the FIFA Club World Cup, which starts in exactly 4 weeks' time. Manchester City lost the FA Cup final to Crystal Palace recently, so watch out for them trying to finish the season on style. We love you, Kevin De Bruyne. Thanks for everything you did in the football game. There you have it, Buckets. Another episode of Stoppage Time in the books. And great show, man. As always, it's been fun. But these games have been pretty crazy. Obviously, trying to choose games, trying to pick which ones we're going to focus on. It's not easy at all times. I got to try and just be patient, making sure I pick the games that people are interested in. But also, those games that have got something on the line, they're actually most important for me to really focus on. So I'm glad that you went that direction as well and you enjoyed it. Let's just get a little update on your personal life. How's things going? What you been up to? Where you been?
Things have been good. We were gone for a little bit from here on Stoppage Time because I was going on vacation to Florida to meet the girlfriend's family. The parents make sure that they don't hate me at the very least, and I think we accomplished that. But had a good time, a bit of a tough time at times. I'm not much of a drinker myself, and her family drank me under the table, but we survived. We're back. That's all that matters.
I'm like you. I'm not much of a drinker either, and I can't hold any of my drink anymore, even though I like to think that I could. At the same time, producer Jeff and I have been back involved in, working around Major League Soccer a little bit, and I in particular have been calling games once again in Major League Soccer. I've been back in the booth, which has been a great feeling for me, and I've really enjoyed it. But, there's one thing that I don't do. There's one rule I have, which I don't do. I don't accept. I never accepted it as a player. Do you know what that is?
No, I don't.
I don't do nil-nils. I simply don't do nil-nils.
You've done 2 of them now, haven't you?
Both games that I've been back in the booth have been 0-0, which is quite incredible. When I was a player and the game finished 0-0, I would come off angry. And you know why I came off angry? Because I would say to everyone, why the fuck did we just run around for 90 minutes? For absolutely no reason. No reason. I don't care about 1 point. All I care about is 3 points. I want to entertain the fans, the viewers. I want to make sure that they turn up, they spend their money, they see goals. You gave them a 0-0? 0-0 sucks. Who cares about 0-0 games? Should be non-existent in my world, in my personal opinion. I would rather us play a 0-0 game and finish in a penalty kick shootout, and whoever wins that gets 2 points rather than 3 points. I just don't like 0-0 games. What is it about 0-0 games?
Is it hard to be in the booth commentating for 90 minutes without having that break of a goal, though? Or are you... Because I watched you. You did really, really well. But I mean, I feel like you need that break of that. There we go, because now we can talk about different motivation and the tides turning. When it's 0-0 for 90 minutes, that's got to be tough.
Do I seem like the type of guy that's not entertained for 90 minutes watching a soccer game?
I'm just saying, it'd be hard. Especially...
The Turtle Grand National, I could make exciting at some point when watching tortoises running. That's just what I do. It's just I try to make anything. I make paint dry entertaining. That's what I do. I'm here to entertain people full stop. And people, I'm sure, were enjoying it. But it's just, when you don't have that moment to be able to explode with excitement, it's frustrating.
It's got to be frustrating, especially when you look at how those teams played, because you were covering New England versus San Jose. Yeah. San Jose's previous game, 3-3, 4-1, 5-3. So they've had crazy fixtures all season long. Yeah. IPJ gets in the booth, nothing.
highest goal scoring team in Major League Soccer with 29 goals, San Jose, turn up and get a 0-0 result. I just couldn't believe it. We did get a couple of goals. So the first game I did was St. Louis against Vancouver, and then this past one obviously was New England against San Jose. And both, games were excellent games. They were fun games, and there were stories going into it. So I really enjoyed that. However, 0-0 just frustrated me. But in both games, there was an offside and controversial goal. So it gave me an opportunity to at least, even when the flag went up, I said, fuck it. I'm going to call this goal like it's the World Cup fucking final, even though I know it might be offside. And I gave it the best call I possibly could. Needless to say, I'm back in the booth at the end of the month. So if you're out there expecting and you're following on my Instagram at JoyPaulIan, 0-0 is to be expected in that game as well. So if you're a bettor out there, correct score 0-0 is most likely going to happen. Buckets, appreciate you. Love you, man. I know you're very busy, so I'm going to let you go. Producer Jeff, thanks for all the great work. Keep on traveling safely wherever you may be. We appreciate everybody out there, the loyal listeners. Make sure you subscribe to the newsletter, fcstoppagetime.com. We've got over 700 people subscribed to that now. We know we've been a little bit absent over the last 10, 12 days because we've been busy, actively busy, focusing on 0-0 fucking games and the end of the European seasons. If you want to catch me, you can catch me on CBS Sports Network, Galazzo Network, Scoreline, and then Buckets, where can people catch you?
You can catch me on the Stoppage Time newsletter that you're going to put the website down right there for. I'm assuming Jeff, nice and big and flashing. Catch me on Twitter at Bucket John Betts, Instagram on everything at Bucket John Betts. You can find me. I'm everywhere.
All right. Appreciate everybody out there. Make sure you bet responsibly, please, for the love of God. It's coming to the business end of the season. We are almost over. Champions League finals coming up next week. We are going to have a big preview for that one. We might even have some guests in that show as well. Love you, buddy. Take care. Be responsible. Make sure you live the dream. And producer Jeff, do the same as well to the loyal listeners. Make sure you absolutely have it!
Stoppage time.